Dear student, myself Rajendra Aseri. I am assistant professor in computer science department at Government Bangalore PG College, Didwana. In the previous lecture, we focused on email security basics. Means when we send a mail and it is delivered to a receiver, in between whatever various security concern might arise, clear. So how to ensure that our mail is sent to intended receiver, and how a receiver can ensure that the mail is originated from a legal sender, right? So and to ensure all this, we need to use a technique electronic mail security. So in the previous lecture we learned some basics of PGP protocol, pretty good privacy protocol, and various services or algorithms used in PGP we learned, right? So in today's lecture we are focusing in detail. So in this lecture series, PGP pretty good privacy protocol, and next lecture S mine. So PGP we are continuing in this particular lecture. Okay. So in PGP protocol, step by step we are learning with the help of this flowchart. Clear? Suppose at sender end what are the process needs to apply, and at the receiver end what are the various processes need to apply. So suppose whenever we are sending a email, initially we are having a original message. Clear? So once we upload or we attach a content or our attachment or content or data, then on this particular file various type of services will be applied when we used PGP protocol, right? Means there will be applied encryption algorithm, there will apply some digital signature, clear compression techniques will be applied, some email compatibility techniques will be applied, clear. And some, if our mail or our file email file is very large, then it will be divided also, segmentation will also be performed. These all five process will be applied at sender end, right? But the order is very important, so step by step we are learning, right? So suppose in this particular flowchart, initially we are having a file. So suppose our file is x is our file. Now if we want to send a document which should be digitally signed, then we need to apply first digital signature on this particular plain file. Means before applying any encryption, any email compatibility, first on the original file, if the digital signature is required or not. If it is required, yes, then we need to generate a digital signature. And for generating the digital signature we are having some algorithm like DSS. DSS, clear, digital signature standard, or we are having SHA, secure hash function. Out of these two algorithm, any of one algorithm can be used for generating the digital signature, right? So once we generated the digital signature, this digital signature will be appended with the original file, and again it will be put into the X block, right? So signature appended, double vertical sign means append, and X digital file. So all both of these will be combined and again put into X. Clear? Now see, if digital signature is not provided, we can skip this particular, this step can be skipped. But suppose we want to ensure the authenticity, we want to ensure the message is not modified, integrity need to ensure, or we want to provide, we want to digitally sign the file, then digital signature is very important. The first step, that is digital signature, is has been done. Now next step is, if we want to reduce the size, compression is required, clear? Then we will apply second step, that is compression. So second step is compression. For compression, which algorithm is required? ZIP, that is zip algorithm is required. So on X was in X there are two parts. One is digital signature and second is original file. Clear? So on this X we are applying what? Z algorithm, that is zip algorithm, right? So first step digital signature, second step we are applying what? Compression algorithm, zip algorithm. Third step is, if we want to make the content of the message private, the data is confidential or not. So to ensure the confidentiality of the message, we require encryption algorithm. And in the previous cryptographic lecture series we learned various type of cryptographic algorithms. Clear? So if confidentiality or privacy or security is required, then we can use two category of algorithm: symmetric or asymmetric. In symmetric, at sender and receiver same key is required. For that we need to share the key, share the secret key. For sharing the secret key we use Diffie-Hellman or various other algorithm also available. In asymmetric, that is public key cryptography, at sender and at receiver, two different keys are used. For sender, public key, and for receiver, private key will be used. So now here we require a key. So in third step, to perform the encryption, encrypt key and X is required. So we will apply some algorithm, encryption algorithm, and with the help of this key we are just encrypting the previous compressed message Z of X. Clear? Initially X was there. On X we applied digital signature. Clear? On this digital signature we applied what? Z. On this Z we are applying what? Encryption. Clear? So we applied digital signature, we applied compression, and third step is encryption, right? After applying the encryption, third step is done. After applying the encryption, we need to ensure the compatibility of our email. Clear? To convert our email into a relevant format, the technique Radix 64 is used. So R64 convert our message into a relevant compatible format, right? These all steps are done at the sender side. Clear? So genetic transmission transition design from sender A. Now this Radix 64 format, the message is transmitted in Radix 64 format. Before that encryption has been done, before to this compression, and before to compression digital signature, and initially original message. So original message, digital signature, compression, encryption, and after that Radix 64. Now our message is transmitting in Radix 64 format, right? Now come in receiver side. So receiver is getting the message in Radix 64 format. So again we need to convert, just remove this Radix 64 conversion in order to get the original message. Clear? So suppose we are using inverse Radix 64 technique in order to get original message. So we got R64 inverse. On X we apply R64 inverse of X and we will get the X. Second step is confidentiality required or not. So just reverse process here, top to bottom, and after that first step at the receiver, second step at the receiver. First step was Radix 64 removal, inverse of Radix 64. Second is decryption. If confidentiality is required, then we need to decrypt the message. If symmetric key, then same key will be used, whatever used as encryption. If asymmetric, then different key will be used. So we decrypt the message. Clear? If confidentiality is not required, this step can be skipped, right? So now see, Radix 64 done, decryption done. Now after the decryption, we need to decompress. our file. So just zip inverse, z inverse of x will be applied. Clear? So third step also applied, decompression. Fourth step, if we require digital signature, signature is required. If yes, then we need to strip signature from X and verify the signature. What we will do, we will just extract the digital signature from the original message, clear, and we will compare the or verify the signature that it is valid or not. Once it is valid, then we can get original file. So in this manner we can apply the various step of PGP protocol. Clear? Again I am summarizing. In PGP protocol, first we are having original file. If digital signature is required, clear, integrity need to ensure, authenticity needs to ensure, then we apply digital signature, DSS or SHA algorithm. Third, if compression is required, then JIP algorithm is required. Algorithm is used. Fourth, if confidentiality is required, then we need to use some cryptographic algorithm like RSA algorithm. So encryption is done, and after the encryption, we are performing some compatibility conversion technique, Radix 64 technique. This all done at the sender end, right? Now, at the receiver end, Radix 64 format initially we got. In Radix 64 format, we applied inverse technique in order to get the message. So that R64 inverse on X, we will get X. Then confidentiality is required, then we will apply decryption in order to decrypt the message. Once we got decrypted message, then we will apply decompression technique, Z inverse on X, in order to get original decompressed X. If digital signature is required, then we will strip our digital signature from the message and we will verify the signature, and after this we will get original X. In this manner the PGP transmission and reception of PGP message can be done. Next is S-MIME. Clear? S-MIME is nothing else. S is secure. MIME full form is multi-purpose internet mail extension. Secure multi-purpose internet mail extension. S-MIME will probably emerge as the industry standard. Clear? Means if you want to ensure the security in email for corporate world industry standard as industry standard, then S-MIME plays very important role. So S-MIME is probably emerge as the industry standard. And PGP was also very good old protocol, and it is used on basically for personal email security, right? Now, simple mail transfer protocol, SMTP. It is also a mail protocol, and uh, RFC for this is 822, request for comment. RFC is basically when we apply RFC 822 on a repository, we will get all the details about the SMTP. Clear? Request for comment. So SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Now, initially SMTP was used. SMTP is still used, but there are some limitation in SMTP. What are those? So it cannot transmit or has a problem with executable file. We cannot attach executable file with help of SMTP or other binary files like JPG, image file, like this. Clear? It is not supported with national language character, non-ASCII character. ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It is not supportable with non-ASCII characters, and it has a message length restriction. In PGP, if message is large, automatically it will divide, segmentation done, automatically reassembly done. But in case of SMTP, messages over a certain size cannot be transmitted. ASCII to EBCDIC translation problem, email compatibility, conversion problems are there. Means from ASCII to EBCDIC, we cannot convert. Lines longer than a certain length, 72 to 254 characters, are not allowed to transmit in SMTP. So due to all these limitations, uh, we used to go on, we can say, some other protocols. Now, there are various header fields in MIME, like MIME version 1.0 comes under RFC 2045 or RFC 2046. Content type, for which type of content we are using. So more types being added by the developers like application, word. Third header field is content transfer encoding. How messages has been encoded. So Radix 64 technique we are using here. Content ID, unique identifying character string is used to ensure the ID of a content. Content description, for describing a content, we need content is not readable text, then MPEG. Clear for that. So if the content is not readable text like MPEG, motion picture expert group, then for that header field, that is content description, can be useful. SMIME function. SMIME perform various type of function like PGP. In PGP, compatibility, encryption, digital signature, compression, all these functions were there. In SMIME, there are some other functions. Enveloped data means it also performed encryption on the content, and encrypted session keys are used for the recipient. Signed data, message digest encrypted with private key of the signer. So digital signature also used in SMIME. Clear signed data, signed but not encrypted. Clear signed data means it is signed but not encrypted. Signed and enveloped data, various ordering of encrypting and signing means, or various ordering means first encryption, then decryption, and then digital signature. First digital signature, then encryption. So various ordering can be done, means signed and enveloped data. Clear? Algorithm used. So for message digesting, we are using SHA-1, that is secure hash function algorithm, or MDS, message digest standard. Digital signature, DSS, that is digital signature standard used. Secret key encryption, triple DES, RC2 or 40 exportable. Public or private key encryption, RSA algorithm we are using with key size of different length like 512 and 1024 bits. And Diffie-Hellman algorithm can be used for the session keys. Now, user agent rule. SMIME uses public key certificate like X.509 version 3 signed by certification authority. X.509 is a repository of we can say certificate and certification authority. We will understand learn about this X.509 in detail in the upcoming lectures. Right now, some functions are there. Key generation. For key generation, Diffie-Hellman, DSS or RSA key pair is used for the key generation. For registration, public keys must be registered with X.509 CA certificate authority. Certificate storage, it can be local as in browser application for different services. Signed and enveloped data, various ordering for encryption and decryption can be used. So in this lecture, uh, we will learn up to this only. In the upcoming lecture, we will be learning in much detail about the SMIME and email security. Thank you.